Welcome to Our Lady of Conspiracy, a conspiracy theory podcast with Patrick and Britt.
It's a morning show. I so much energy, and I think that's something that's needed right now. We need somebody to bring energy because it's not great out here in these streets.
I've had a really productive day. I started a Sell Your Body Show podcast.
So okay, that's
So
nice.
that's exciting. That'll be my third fucking podcast.
Yeah. Okay. As someone who is a veteran in this, you got to reel it in at some point because it can get out of hand. Where you're like, how many shows do I have? Why do I have them?
I gotta limit it at 3, dog.
Yeah, especially if you get annoying people that want to be regular about recording. Me and you are very similar in like if we don't, but see, I don't want to do, if I'm not feeling it, I don't want to do a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have it. I mean, I absolutely can fake it if I have to, but I get the energy once I'm doing it. But there's sometimes where it's like, I do not want to be on a thing.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, that's why Polywana podcast has been so behind for me. Because it's like, sometimes I want to talk about polyamory, but I kind of get sick of it.
It's supposed to be like, that's the basis of the podcast, but just like I have a baseball podcast, but if we talk baseball all the time, I would kill myself.
Yeah.
But I just mean like you don't want to get, it's just, it gets monotonous.
Yeah. And even like, I'm doing a live show soon this Saturday, actually. Actually, let me plug the date. I've lost all concept of time, but
yeah, there is no time. Today's Sunday, yesterday, Saturday, it doesn't matter.
That's funny. I mean, honestly, like, there's no way for me to keep track of time if I didn't have fucking shows. So Saturday, April 25th, I'm going to go on Zoom and do a Polywana podcast live call. So I'm going to record the podcast, but then I'm also going to have people like asking questions and stuff. So I'm really excited.
That's amazing.
About that. Yeah.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes. What have you been up to? You're doing a show on Instagram or something?
Maybe it's Twitter. I don't know. I use every platform possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been less social. I've gotten off the internet. I've gotten off Twitter. I just have kind of turned everything off for whatever reason. I don't know. It's not the contrarian in me. For some reason, it's just I don't feel like reading all that stuff. I don't know. I've been watching TV.
Yeah, it's overwhelming
playing
right now.
guitar. Yeah, but people are like output, and I've kind of like, I'm doing this all the time, no matter if there's a pandemic or not. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take this time. I'll let them have their day in the sun, and I'm gonna reel in and not be doing shows every night. Mm-hmm. But I think it's cool how the art community has figured out Zoom. There are now stand-up shows with people, like the audience is actually in the Zoom so that you can hear them laughing. So there's actually it's fucking cool how creative and how we're going to figure it out. Even if we never got to see each other or touch another human again, like we'll figure it out. It's pretty cool to see some of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. What's your conspiracy life been like? What shows are you watching? Are you doing any ghost shit?
I'm always doing ghost shit. Conspiracy wise, I was laughing the other day because all those hillbillies were parading around, and okay, now this is where it gets a little dicey for me because are they crazy and terrible? Yes, 100%. But do I agree with them on some of the stuff and this is, and it's hard for me to find a line because I don't think I don't think it's ominous, the deep state and all this stuff, and but I know that they're up to something, and I've watched a lot of, and this is, I don't even know, this isn't even conspiracy. It's just, I guess it's what it can be depending on how you look at it. A lot of the states have used this COVID-19, the coronavirus, to really infringe on some stuff with the phones and how they track us, and without even really asking, and that's something that's even if there's no, malevolent intention behind it, like that's a slippery slope. So now that sets some sort of precedent to where they can just, I don't know, it's a little bit scary for me that they can just start monitoring phones just on the basis of we want to see who has the disease or where they've been, and without having to ask anybody. Have you read anything on that or seen anything on that front? Because I think that's part of what the Hillbillies are talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, so surveillance of our phones has actually been a conversation for a long time, but that's the thing about, have you heard the term, don't let a good tragedy go to waste?
Yes.
So it's we have known that our phones have been tracked, and there are people that, advocate for autonomy and anonymity when it comes to our devices. But we also, when we open Google Maps, we agree to share our location information with whoever Google wants
Right.
to. And if Google chooses our government, even though we don't think of that at the time, then that's who they choose, So it's we have already given that away. And I think that the conversation about those rights has already passed for so long that now, the government doesn't want to have a conversation about how they use our data, because if they did, then we would tell them to stop. But it's I hear fucking people on Facebook oh yeah, people in my city aren't leaving their house very much, we can tell by their phones, and they're saying it like it's not a fucking 1984 dystopian huge invasion of our personal rights.
Like it's just another piece of data that they have information for, which is very terrifying. That it's just that easy for them to say that.
Exactly. And so I think we've become so accustomed to it, and they're definitely, it isn't like the government hasn't had the access to this, Facebook and the government are very intertwined in a lot of ways. And so I think that if we wanted to have changed that, we should have done it when Google was being born. But now to go back, it's like putting a genie back in a bottle, we would have to reform so many more systems than just technology.
But I read, and I don't know, I wish I had the source. That'd be a very nice thing to do on a podcast like this, is to share the source. Although with conspiracy theories, that could get a little bit dicey. You're just almost on some guy named Craig's blog, Shadow Craig's blogspot, reading about God knows what, because the rabbit hole can take you there. But to where yeah, what you said is 100% all true. But where that they've actually gone beyond during this to do things that's not necessarily has not been approved and is technically illegal.
Yeah.
In terms of monitoring, because I mean, and it's basically, we just have to take what they say at face value. It's illegal. We're not going to do it. We're not going to mess with your data. It's well, I don't necessarily believe that. So I don't know. But I guess that also you could couple that with the phone stuff, and then the Hillbillies are they just mad that everything's closed? I'm sorry. Hillbilly is my new word. I love it. So that's why I keep saying it. So is that what they also mad about that?
Well, that's the thing about the stupidity is I think that some of them really do have a heart for liberty and for personal freedom, and that it is their right to leave their home. And the way that it stands now, nobody has lost their right to leave their home. In other countries, you have to get a permit and print it off to go walk your dog. America does not have that. You have the right to leave your home. What they should actually be, what they're protesting is the fact that businesses are closed and they want the economy to reopen.
We love capitalism.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the hypnotizing qualities of capitalism, is that it leads people to believe that they must participate in it in order to have a livelihood. And so they're associating, and part of this is trauma too, that they got so comfortable in their home. And most of the people that are protesting are upper middle class to middle class. There's probably very few people that are actually in poverty protesting, because the people that are actually in poverty are still fucking working. They're the ones that are at grocery stores and fast food places. You know what I mean? So it's really a kind of cognitive dissonance between personal liberty, because really what they're asking for is the right to participate in a psyop against them. The economy is not for them. It's taking their money and their energy and their labor, and they're
Right.
protesting to get back into a participation that they never fucking consented to in the first place. So if they really cared about liberty, they would be protesting capitalism, you
You
know?
hear that? You hear that? You goddamn idiots. You
I
hear
mean,
that?
and I
No,
don't
that's
think
no,
it's,
but no,
I
but
don't
that's
think
but
it's just,
it's there's a lot of there's a lot. Well, I mean, there's a lot of gray area there, but you're 100% right. I mean,
it's
if you really
stupidity.
want to get down to
And it's
bolts and
hypnotism.
tacks.
Like, we're hypnotized, we're traumatized. Like, so it's not 100% stupidity, but the stupid part is the idea that getting together like that is going to be what saves us. You know what I mean? Like, really what's going to be a protest is a rent strike. That's a protest.
Right.
You know, an Amazon strike. If everyone didn't order from Amazon for
Well, that's it.
24
Good.
hours, that's a
Yeah,
fucking
right.
strike, dude. Like, the
Yeah,
strike that
that's a
they're
big
holding,
fucking message, but I mean, it's just that's a
you know,
big
can you
fucking.
imagine?
Jeff Bezos. He's like, yeah, I got the message. You didn't have to CC me on that. I got it. We're hemorrhaging money here. Thank you.
You know what I
Just
mean?
one
Though, it's
fucking day.
like there are other ways, and I think like that's the thing about the creative people right now that are stepping up to the plate. Like, they're kind of understanding that it's not going to be like, we know, you know, liberals have been, you know, espousing anti-capitalism forever, but I think like the unfortunate thing, because I agree that we should have the right to leave our homes, and that, you know, like,
Which we do.
yeah,
We 100% do.
there are personal rights that we should be fighting for, and like and that's like that's the fucked up part, is like there are so many conservative things that I align with, but
Me too. But me too. I don't think. Yeah, of course. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
no, but it's like when they go out there and they make a fool of those ideas, like when they espouse liberty and personal autonomy, but they don't take responsibility for their health, and they don't take responsibility for their safety and the safety of their family. And that's the other thing about liberty, is that the people that are important to you in liberty, like personal, you know, this is kind of anarchish a little, but
Draw the A with the circle in it, playboy. I don't know why.
people around you in your community and your family are the people that you get to protect. That's why we have the right to bear arms, so we can defend ourselves if, you know, if there's some kind of you know, intruder, or if the government's trying to seize our right to bear arms. Like,
100%.
that,
It's from. I mean, it was intended to protect from the government
yeah,
itself,
exactly. But
from
also,
tyranny.
like, look at our tyrannical president. It's like the very same people that support like someone who I believe is like totally fucking them over. You know what I mean? Like, despite some of the things that he's done that I agree with, like he is also hypnotizing, traumatizing, and manipulating the public in so many ways. And those same people are putting their family and their life at risk, instead of trying to find ways to work within their personal liberty without killing their fucking family. These are boomers.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and they're bringing children to these protests, and like,
Yeah. See, and that's where it gets dicey for me. It's tough too, because I sit here and I'm like, you know what? I really honestly think they should have just left it up to all of us, which
yeah.
that's a negligent way of thinking. That's not a fair way of thinking. But I'm sitting here like, and of course I'm not in the at-risk section for this, so I'm not nervous. I'm not scared of the virus for whatever reason. I know people that have gotten it and recovered from it, but I'm just like, yeah, you know what? We didn't need to shut the world down. We should have, but that's not correct. That's just a personal belief thing. But you know, a lot of those people that are protesting, they still think that it is they're quoting Rush Limbaugh, saying that it's the common cold, which it's fucking not. They're saying it's it's just as deadly as the flu. It's so much more deadlier than the flu. It's not even funny. That it's like this is serious. It is 100% serious. As I don't. If you don't feel like it's serious, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not scared of it, but this is definitely serious, and it is killing a lot of people. So I don't know, but that's this is getting into some. It's really the dates really keeps moving forward, and they're saying what mid May 15th is like I don't know, and I say they. I don't know who they is. I've heard May 15th is a goal date to shoot for. But what's going to happen, and it's going to be really annoying, is that people are going to get fed up with this dragging on, and people are just going to start opening their small businesses. They're going to like, you know what, if they get a ticket, I get a ticket. And people, it's going to be a rebellion in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to get a second wave of the virus, and it's going to fucking be brutal.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm open to like the fact that there are conspiracies surrounding this, but this is
there should be.
It's hard because those people believe that there is a conspiracy going on, and they're making these dangerous decisions based on that. And that gives us all a bad name. And also like it goes back to participating in the economy. Like, humans have existed longer than the concept of the economy. Like, if they're really religious and they really fucking love God, then
That's not how it works.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like they're not.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with propaganda. And that's the problem with like the fact that the conspiracy realm has been so othering. And even the political realm, like if we had welcomed conservatives, like if liberals were more welcoming to conservatives and less fucking volatile to them, then they would feel safer on the internet and they would be getting more pure information. But we've created echo chambers for ourselves so that they're only getting information from their conservative friends and conservative news sources. And honestly, I think that like I'm partially to blame. Like, I used to fucking roast conservatives and Republicans. Like, I was like, I don't fucking care, my body, my choice. And I thought it was life and death, but I was speaking from a place of trauma, and I was fucking radicalized, you know, like,
right.
And if I knew that this would be the outcome, if I wasn't more considerate and welcoming to conservatives when I had the chance, then I would have changed my tune, you know?
Yeah, and one thing that helped me, I mean, my parents are super conservative. I've got close friends that I would take a bullet for that are conservative, and that I don't agree with nine times out of 10. I don't agree with them politically, but it's helped me because I know them personally, and I know their souls, and I love them. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of helped, because it's really divisive out there. It's super divisive, and it's not in reality as divisive as I guess the front lines, it would be the internet. And it just, on the internet, you know, the thing about the internet is that nobody gets the benefit of the doubt on the internet. If you tweet something, somebody's going to reply with, oh, whatever thing that you tweeted about that they felt attacked on, they're replying with automatically assuming that that's what you said.
Yeah.
And I feel like people are coming from that place on this defensive, like, and it's just not a place of just understanding, like, hey, for the most part, everybody is just trying to do their best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not enemies, and if we disagree, like, I don't want to do this debate. Stop. So be nicer on the internet is the point of this. Be nice.
Yeah.
Show some goddamn respect.
I know people don't want to hear that, but it's like, now I think that like what we believed before was like, what I believed, I'll speak for myself, is like, if I don't fight this person on this idea and I don't change their mind about it, people will die. And like, I think that was programming. I don't think that's true.
Or that you're not, or you feel like you're not doing your part. Like that you
it's like, how can I contribute?
You face the enemy. You were right there, and you didn't go to battle right then. And it's like I think the divisiveness is far more toxic and far more detrimental to society than any policy disagreement on anything is.
For sure.
I think it's so dangerous, and that's the main thing about this president. This president's a fucking goddamn jamoke. He's an idiot. He's an idiot, a narcissistic idiot. But the divisiveness and how separate we've become on stuff, to where like I'll have dinner with my parents, and like my dad will just start spouting, just immediately go to a place of divisiveness, and I'm just like, bro, like, it's not that serious. And I call him bro, and then he grounds me, and I am grounded right now. I am grounded right now, 2 weeks.
That's why you're in your cave. That's your ground.
Yeah, he's like, I can't leave here. Yeah, no PlayStation 4. It's like, Dad, come on.
Well, yeah, we have an imaginary enemy, and so this is kind of like the duality conversation. Like, our universe is 3-dimensional, and we define things by duality. And so a lot of people have formed their political ideas based on an imaginary enemy. And so like now that we actually have an imaginary enemy, like we can't see, like the coronavirus has not been isolated, or COVID-19 hasn't. And there's so many things that are like circling around, and we have become so separated from our humanity and so separated from our connectedness that we don't have any discernment about information. And like when people say conspiracy theories are dangerous, this is what they're talking about. And that's sad, because it's not the conspiracy theory that's dangerous, because there are conspiracy theories on the other side of the line that, you know,
100%.
It's not about the bad information. It's about bad people saying bad things to each other, you know, and thinking that that's
For sure.
their job, you know. That's why I'm kind of careful about calling them stupid, because I really don't think they're stupid. I think they've been tricked. And even very smart people can be tricked by a very smart manipulator.
I absolutely. Did you ever watch the documentary on Netflix on Cambridge Analytica and the
I don't remember.
oh my God, it's on how, and that's, you know who Cambridge Analytica is?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the story, so I might have watched the doc, or I might have just watched a YouTube video.
Oh, I'm gonna look up the name of the title just in case you haven't, because you absolutely have to watch it. It's incredible. Like for the 2016 election, how they teamed up with Facebook, and how just small that their target, they picked a demographic of swing votes that they knew that they could possibly swing, and they just peppered this very small number of people that they knew that they would swing, and that swung the entire election. And when it was broken down, like, and you're seeing like, we weren't sending this to millions of people. We picked this 15,000 people in this district that was this many people, and that swung it. It was just like, and it's like they were handpicked by data points, and it's just like, fuck, that's terrifying.
You know what? And I say this all the time, but like, I think that our primary argument should not be about banning conspiracy theories, or like taking shit offline or whatever, if it has to do with the Sandy Hook shooting. Like, that stuff's irrelevant. What we should demand is information disclosure from our government, and them using this whole like why do they, what's that word? Something safety, like we can't share this piece of government data because it would, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a word, it's like a phrase for intelligence.
I mean,
I can't remember. That's so crazy, but I guess I'm getting too close to the truth.
Yeah, it starts getting some interference. The documentary is The Great Hack. Absolutely. If anybody who listens to this, and if you listen to this podcast, you're a psychopath, and I love you. But Britt, The Great Hack, it's on Netflix. It's absolutely incredible.
Yay.
And it's also terrifying. I mean, it was almost, I think it was like almost 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like a really good documentary, and like just, you learn so much. I would go as far to say it was riveting. It was one of those ones where you're just like, fuck, you want to get your notepad out and stuff.
Yeah.
But also very terrifying and and not great in the same sense. But
the point being, like,
I don't know.
Disclosure of information from our governments, like whether or not it threatens our safety as citizens, like we believe that if we like, you know, we have this idea that all of the information that's being kept for us is for national security. Oh, maybe that's the words that I was thinking of. I don't remember.
National security. Yeah. It was national security. It was national security. I love that I couldn't come with it. And like when you say it, like, oh yeah, that's national security, of course. And that's what 9/11 fucked for us. Is like that, the Patriot Act, and that pretty much what screwed us.
Yeah, I mean, but even
that goddamn Patriot Act kill us. I'm a patriot, and this kind of Patriot Act is working against what I believe, and I'm a doomsday prepper. That's my doomsday. That's my doomsday prepper character. Yeah. I got my bug out kit ready to go, buddy. I'll get to my shelter so fast. It's in the woods.
I know, and all these people that have all this prep equipment are the ones that are out there protesting. Like, we have to leave. I don't have enough beans.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you gotta keep stacking all your goods.
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
If the government's disclosed information and there was a practical way for us to disseminate and distribute actual information, we wouldn't have fucking conspiracy theories. But the CIA goes through and dumps a bunch of declassified documents every so often, and they act like they're giving us the information.
I love how you're.
What?
you're like cutting out on my end, and it's like as you start talking about the CIA, it's CIA guy listening. Hey, shout out to you. You're really you're really protecting this country if you're listening out on our podcast. So shout out to you. But anyway, back to your point. It just was cutting in and out right when you started talking about them. It's like, of course.
Hey, well, let me tell you, getting too close to the truth.
Well,
But like the
but no,
CIA
but they put it, but they
dumps.
put in, but they like the WikiLeaks, and they put, well, that was stolen. But like they'll
Yeah.
put information out, and some crazy people do, and they'll tell you like, look, I've got the documents. And people are like, yeah, all right, again, it's shadowcraig.blogspot.com. We're like, Shadow Craig,
Yeah.
like, we don't believe you because you're always harping on this stuff. But he's like, no, I've got them saying it. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. And that's what the powers that be, the government, whoever the enemy is on conspiracy theories, that's what they like.
Yeah.
They want people to think conspiracy theorists are crazy and psychopaths, that you dismiss what they say when I'm not gonna throw a percentage out there because it would be complete. I would just be making it up. But sometimes people, they're 100% correct on everything that they're talking about, and it's true. And you're just like, yeah, but he was talking about lizard people yesterday. So I'm not. He's
Yeah.
no. It's just discrediting. Just like, and that's what conspiracy theory. It's like it's not a bad word, but it's like a. I don't know. It comes out. It's negative. Yeah. It when you hear it. Exactly. Absolutely. It's very polarizing. Like when you hear it, like I love that I just used a synonym of the word that you used. There's no reason to do that. Yeah. When you hear it, like you don't think of like a factual thing that, like when I think conspiracy theories, I used to think like, oh, we're talking about just the moon and NASA and all that, Stanley Kubrick and all that stuff. Now, when I say it, it's not. It's more. It's not the same kind of definition.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
because I know some of this stuff. Like, there's we got shot to 9/11 being an actual inside job. Yeah, we know that's true.
Yeah.
There's too much information.
I mean, you can just
These
follow. If there's anything that's so culturally divisive to where like if you say it, people react in a way, like not even if they believe it or not, but it's like when you start talking about vaccines, 9/11, the Kennedy assassination, flat earth, like any of these things, then they
flat earthers. I love these guys.
But it's like flipping a switch in someone's head because they're being digitally programmed. And I think if more people understood how easy it was to program us psychologically and how easy it was to traumatize us and control our behavior, then they would understand that conspiracy theories, like really all that we're saying is that there's a group of people making decisions and they're not letting you in on it. And those decisions affect your life directly, So like when someone like reveal, like this is a great example. There was Florida was uncovered. They had been thwarting their own unemployment website. So for years, or maybe I don't know how many years or how long, but it was, a while, they had built their unemployment website so that when people got to the end of it, it would only work some of the time to apply for unemployment. And so then when COVID-19 hit, everyone was having problem with the unemployment website and they're like, what the fuck is going on? They find out that the website was built to not work correctly and that the governor was doing that on purpose. The governor had knowledge that this was built this way, and then it helped them report their unemployment as lower than it actually was because
that's happening everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like they uncovered that.
That's happening everywhere. Yeah, it's shit like that, and it's terrible.
But it's on the news, you know what I mean? And so that is a conspiracy theory that was proven correct. You know what I mean?
Because
but they'll never call that a conspiracy theory. The shit we're talking about is the same fucking thing. It's just that there are decisions being made that don't have anything to do with you that affect your life negatively, and wake the fuck up, sheeple,
Wait, seriously. I mean, and that's the plan with the stuff like that. It's just a little here, a little there, a little this, a little that.
Yeah.
And there's just there's so much information being thrust at us just constantly. It's bad just for news stories as it is, but for stuff like that, it's fucking golden.
And people,
you even if it's a lead story on fucking 2020, or I don't know, is 2020 still on? I'm showing my age on that one a little bit. It might be still on. I don't know. One of those like NBC nightly news,
60 Minutes.
Like what? Like 60 Minutes is just murder mysteries. She thought she was going to have a great beach vacation, but instead she was the one that was beached. Or, so, it's just always murder mysteries. I don't know. That was not a good impression of that guy. But
murdered by her husband.
And that's when she snapped. Okay. Shout out to Snapped, where it's just women just snapping. Like, that's when she killed her husband. That's enough. He was in the garage with his beer lights, fucking watching Florida State football one too many times, and that's when she snapped, murdered her husband. So shout out to murdering husbands. I don't know what I was saying. So shout out to murdering husbands. Oh, well, just they could be the lead story on the biggest news story that we have. And we might all watch it and be like, damn, that's crazy. And then we all go about it. We all go about our business. And it's me too. On to the next thing. It's out of sight, in one ear, out the other, whatever the cliche is. But it's scary that way, because if you don't, I don't know. I feel like that's how we consume everything, from music to literally everything, jokes, everything I read. Yeah. It's on to the next thing, and it's not. I don't know. I use music as an example because people don't listen to albums anymore. Like, I was thinking, like, people they'll download the song they like, which is cool too. But like, I was like, I miss number sevens. What about number sevens? When you get a good record, you can't stop playing. I still listen to whole albums, but people, it's just the way they can see it. And it's not necessarily bad. It's just a different way. But it's very dangerous, because things like that can be out in the open. It can be known, and we have the information to decide what we want to do about it. And if it's in it with one ear out the other ear, then there's nothing to be said. And it's like, I mean, the news story was out there. Y'all have known about this. It's like, okay, touche, shadow government. Why are you talking to me like that?
Well, it just pisses me off. Like, when you think about the Mockingbird Project, like how they uniformed the news. Like, when you turn on the news in the morning, you see people fucking baking and like making omelets and playing with like peacocks and shit. I'm like, this is not news. You turn on the nightly news, you're seeing the same story over and over and over again for a week. That's not news. Right. What is news is that we are finding like archaeological evidence that changes the way history is. Like, we now know
that's scary. That's things they don't want that out there.
So archaeologists are fucking talking shit about that all the time, but why is that not making the news? Like, that's a fucking conspiracy theory, and archaeologists are fucking pissed about it. And really, who they should be talking to.
Yeah, we are very upset about it. We hate that.
Oh my god, I used to date an archaeologist.
Crypto paleontology, that's what I'm into. But go ahead.
But it's because the media.
Tell me about the person you were dating. I want to know. This is more important than whatever you're talking about.
Oh, we like went on our first date. We met on OkCupid, and he brought all this like old
stuff. That strikes a 2 and 3. But go ahead.
I like fell in love with him immediately. I was also like way too young for him, but I was like, so I like old shit. So he was old. The shit he brought to the fucking crepe place was old.
Fucking was it Ross Geller? Was it Ross Geller?
He was a little spurty.
No, it was not.
Whatever.
He was one of the original Bone Thugs. That's what I call paleontologists. Hey-o, all right.
But it's like, I think that, and that's one of the things about, when I finally get this movement going about the disclosure of information from our government, it's like, we really have to change the way that we think about media, because I know that we want to know what's going on in our world. And when we 100%. Watch the news, we have been trained, when we're on fucking Twitter, when we're on our Facebook feed, we think that we're getting the news, and we're not. That's not.
Well, we are. We just aren't getting it everywhere. I see, and this could appeal to this could be the optimist in me, and it probably is, and that could be to my detriment. But I do believe that there are journalists, and there are people that are absolutely loyal to getting the truth out, and I do know that there is an absolute, in terms of corporate media and the news. Have you ever seen like John Oliver do one of those montages where he'll
where they're saying the same fucking
where they're saying the Fed line on just countless different news networks across the country. That's they may be saying something silly, but that's terrifying. And if it's spun in a different way of them saying some other politicized line or something that was that was fed like that's really terrifying. I mean, that could be a simple, in some instances it's just you get a there's a press release that comes out, and they're just but like people are not, they're like, oh, I don't have to go do real journalism. I can just read this, and that's probably what it comes down to, is just them being lazy as journalists. But what I was saying is that I do believe that there are journalists, and there are places that care, that care about the truth, that do not have an angle when they're reporting stuff. So I do believe that still exists, but you have to know how to disseminate through the information, and that's not, even for intelligent people, that's not always easy to do.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to do at all, and you
But
can trust the wrong source. I mean, it's very simple to go awry just by, oh, I trust this source, and if that source is compromised, now you're compromised. So there you go. Yeah,
that's like the thing about, and that's the responsibility of, like, and I think that that's the misinterpretation of people that think, when we say the media is being controlled, like, there's like, I don't care how active or passive it is, our media is broken. You know what I mean?
100%.
You don't have to believe that there's a fucking old man behind the curtain pulling levers to know that the information that we're getting is tainted. And it's like just what you're talking about, lazy journalists. And everybody's a person. Everyone is looking out for themselves. And people that have global influence, if they're looking out for themselves and they make one choice that oppresses others, that can change the structure of society forever.
Ripple effects, 100%. Yeah.
That work in the media really understand, like, because there's so much celebrity and there's so much ego, and like people aren't really confronting that for themselves. Like if you become a news anchor, you read the fucking print. Like if you become a journalist, you read the press release. Like you go onto these boards and you take the information. Even the fucking White House has admitted to putting false information in their fucking releases. And it's
well, Trump says it every day. They would have to, because there's no way that would even work. Of course they do.
Yeah,
it's the PR game. So you get the PR game is just as dangerous. But yes, I mean it's like you said, it's an entire broken system. Mm-hmm. Thank God that we're live in this wonderful, beautiful time of information.
I know, right?
It's pretty tight that we can look up whatever we want at any point in time. And as somebody who came up when I went from I had a pager to having like I was just driving 16, 17 when cell phones started coming out. So I mean, and I didn't text message until I was out of college or whatever.
Wow.
But pretty close there. My T-Mobile Sidekick. What a cool ass phone that was. You could flip up and it had a little keyboard, so tight. But so to go from not having the internet and to as a teen, and then getting AOL chat rooms in the internet, and then have it kind of build up. By the time I graduated high school, it was the internet was much different than what it was just 3 years earlier. So to see the two different worlds, it's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm almost 40 years old, everybody. Isn't that so much fun? Hooray. Hooray, 38, the sex number. So that's pretty good. But yeah, but it is crazy.
I was just trying to imagine what sex move your body would have to do to make a 38. It requires at least 3 people, right?
Yeah, because you'd have to. We'll see the third. So this person's this way. It looks. I think it's just anal.
Oh no,
it's just anal. Is it just? It's just anal. It's just anal. It's just anal. Yeah, it's anal.
It's just anal.
It's just anal. Yeah. 38. 38. Yeah, it's just butt. It's just it's anal. And the 3's this way. I mean, it's butt to butt. It's butt to butt. So
that's what I call butt play.
Butt to butt to butt. So
well, thank God we are serious journalists, and that we're here to bring the truth to people with this 38 butt symbolism.
And that would be the one thing we've had this whole show with very good discussion and discourse, and then all people have to do is they would just have to play that little snippet of me saying it's butt to butt, and not that there was any credibility to begin with, but had there been, it's out the window. It's okay, yeah, this is it's a clown show, and that's how they get us. They get, when you're talking about your sex numbers, that they'll use that snippet against you.
That's hilarious. And honestly, that's the thing about being an entertainer. I do a lot of research because I'm studying is like how I like
You're a nerd. You're a nerd. You're a huge nerd. Yeah, I know.
but it's like
And I mean that in the best way possible. That's a compliment.
even if I'm taking notes, like a lot of it does kind of like, you know, I still have to survive. I still have to have a job. I still have shows.
Right.
Like, it's like, that's the thing about the elite is that they have all of this time to just sit around and like figure out, like they're every day they were raised in a world where they had to believe that we are stupid and that we must be protected from ourselves. And so they are doing this stuff so that they can be better in their life and they can protect us from killing each other. And they really think that taking our liberty away and disseminating information irregularly and incorrectly is going to do that, and they're wrong.
But do you think in this like there's a lot of gray area with this, but I want to ask you this because I have some thoughts on it. Don't you feel like that? But that is the case sometimes, that the greater population, and even with conspiracy theories or like that the population is almost too dumb as a whole to handle some of the stuff. Like there'll be some stuff that I'll be reading, and I'm just like, yeah, if this is true, this is not like it fucks you up a little bit. Yeah. And that like if it was consumed and everybody got it and they got the message, like I guess people would be fighting for what was right, and it wouldn't, but it would be all hell would break loose.
Well, you know what I mean?
So I don't want. So I guess when I'm talking myself out of what I was saying, I was like, well, maybe people don't need all the information, but I think that's not fair. I think that people need to be able to make your own decision with all the information, and whether or not you want to rebel and go to war, or whether blah blah blah, whatever it may be, that you want all the information.
Yeah, I think that
but it is scary. It's scary.
I think it's like some of the reason that we believe that people are stupid is because we keep them from resources like information, and that they are. I mean, look at our.
I'm an elitist. I'm terrible. I'm the worst. I'm part of the shadow government. I think people are dumb. I think people are stupid, and myself included. Because I know how dumb I am, and I don't think I'm that dumb. So I'm just like, it's probably a bad opinion. It's probably a bad take on my part.
Have you met everybody?
No. It's really a blanket statement, and it's completely unfair. It's a blanket statement. A lot of people, but I feel like most people are pretty fucking dumb.
Well, I have some theories about why that is. I think
because we made them that way, huh? We programmed them to be stupid.
Here's the thing, like, I think that we start school too late and we do school wrong.
We do school way wrong, for sure.
People are in poverty 100%. And they're abusive, and there is not a single one of us that is not traumatized by our childhood. Not a single one of us. And we have no trauma education, and we are all in a state of not being able to think clearly. And I think that that's been true for all of history. I think that the only time that this is going to change is now, and that's because we have the internet.
Yeah, because you shut your mouth and you go about your business and you don't talk about it. If you got bullied, so what? That sucks. It made you stronger in your what? Blah blah blah. 100%. I don't care how good your childhood was, all of it, all of adolescence and childhood included. But I mean, up into your fucking teen years, I don't care if you were fucking king of the school. Every fucking from having to fucking your first kiss, just fucking dealing with girls, at least from a guy's perspective, just stuff like that. Just like it fucking just
boners.
Boners in general. Very problematic in math class. Not great. You want a good elastic band that you can tuck it in. Neither that. Let's move on from that. But
we treat children like shit. Children are the most oppressed people in the world.
100%.
100%.
Not even close. Not even fucking close.
With love and respect, and we treated our parents with enough like resources to be able to parent correctly. If we were in community when we were parenting, I mean, it's been centuries since we've had a nourished populace, you know. And I don't think that I don't think we've seen a society yet that can help people reach their potential for intelligence. And I don't think that we should waste the opportunity to give people that by disclosing information. I do think it'll take time. But I think that's why I do all the emotional education stuff I do, because if you are so inflamed by your trauma that you reject information, like those triggers, that's what's
fucking. Well, absolutely.
Because our reality is distorted. That's what trauma does.
Now, and just to piggyback off your information thing, and this is I'm being, this is the devil. This is not the devil's advocate. This is the real devil's take on this. The real devil wants to say, now say,
I'm being possessed by the devil. He has some things to say to you.
this is hello. It's me, the real devil from the actual hell, the real one, the real devil. It's me. The real one. Again, from hell, the actual hell, from the place hell. What I was gonna say is, so say, and I think this is probably the case, and you'd probably agree with me. All of the CIA and government data on aliens, and see, and not that there can be religion can exist and God can exist. God can exist and aliens can exist, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. But if that information getting out existentially fucking, ruins the ruler of the world, which is the Roman Catholic Church, is actually in charge of the entire world. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but it 100%. Is. And if that gets out, and that's what's buried in their vault there, with all their stories about Mary Magdalene and Jesus and his beautiful family. Shout out to Jesus. We love Jesus. But if that comes out, that aliens have visited us, and it's true and it's factual, which I think we would, most of us would agree that there's probably aliens. Just from the Roswell stories alone, and that was in the fucking 50s. Yeah. But that ruins the church, not religion, the church, mm-hmm. The church, at least in the big picture, into what's some of the stuff they're selling. Again, I think that if a God can create one planet, he can create another planet of lizard people. I don't see why that can't be the case. That's a true belief of mine. But
let's do this.
We'll talk about aliens another time.
No. I mean, we're winding down to the end. I just want to close out this episode, and then you and I can hop on another fucking call and we can talk about this comet that's coming towards Earth right now.
I didn't know about it, so you just scared me. But yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank y'all for listening. Please tune into the next episode. I know that's a cliffhanger.
It's not. It'll come around. It'll show up.
Off? It's been so long. We don't have a sign off, really.
No, we don't. We absolutely don't. We've done it different every single episode.
All right. Well, everybody's stupid, and we're all gonna die. Bye, everybody.
Later.